Welcome to the Tuesday night takeover here on WCBS. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks. You might know me as a YouTuber, a comic creator, but you definitely know that I'm world class. And tonight we have another world class show lined up for you fine folks tonight. The redundant is the word of the day. But folks, I am joined by my co-host. First off, you know him, you love him, all the way from the Rippaverse. Say hello to Andy Andrew. Oh no, he's muted.
Oh, okay. It wasn't just me.
Oh, yeah. Look, We'll run it back again. What is going on, Jeff, Script, and chat? It is great to see you all this fine Tuesday evening, despite me boomering doing the streamer thing and apparently not remembering that I had literally just muted my mic like 30 seconds prior. But that's fine. I'm ready for a good time.
Shit happens when you party naked. So, folks, we have another co-host all the way from the Great White North. Say hello to, I would say, the Smoky Script Doctor because of all those wildfires, man. You guys doing okay up there?
Yeah, they've cleared out. I'm sorry that they're in Detroit right now.
It's Detroit, don't worry.
I mean, maybe it is a breath of fresh air for them. I mean, it's boreal forest fire. That's good. That clears out the sinuses. But yeah, when yeah, that's funny. It's tragic because the night before, like we did our show last week, I flew back, I arrived home, and then the following morning I go outside and it's yellow. Like it's like something out of like Silent Hill throughout the whole city. Street lights were on during the day because it was so dark and orange and yellowy everywhere.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it cleared up pretty fast. Yeah.
Don't worry about the Detroit stuff, man. Just it's a better city than it used to be. But my sophomore year of college, I had to take a bus from Detroit to Cincinnati, and I thought I was in a demilitarized zone. So, folks, if you've never been to Detroit, don't go. There's no reason to. Stay out of Cleveland as well. It's equally shitty. Parts of the Midwest just suck. You know, it is what it is. But, folks, we're not here to talk about geography tonight. We're here to talk about some world-class bullshit. What are we talking about tonight? A little bit of the Odyssey, because we don't give a shit. But we have this Avengers Endgame. No, sorry. Doomsday. So it looks a lot like Endgame with the damn battlefield and the big crossover battle. And we've all seen it before. It's a rerun, except this time we have lesser characters. Like
except we have a villain that we haven't built up to.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be so excited because it's Robert Downey Jr. It's like, hey, guys, let me take all of that goodwill that he built as Iron Man 20 years ago. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a variant. We should care about it just the same. No, but we'll get into all that and a lot more tonight because, guys, I know you've been seeing the discussion around the trailer, and it's not the usual hype bro, I got to go see it day one. It's, oh, that didn't look that good. So I think Marvel's already at a disadvantage with this movie. But before we get into that, we have our word of the day, and the word of the day is Odyssey. It's brought to us by Shrebels08. Mississippi Burning Odyssey, Event Horizon Odyssey, Twister Odyssey, The Wizard of Odyssey. I like that one. And for a few Odysseys more.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. My Science Odyssey.
Real Odyssey.
Phantom of the Odyssey.
Big Odyssey in Little China.
That's a good one, too. Odyssey's not included.
Oh, that's a good one. Mulholland Odyssey.
I want to make that now. You want to do like a California version? Wait, they already did a California version of the Odyssey, but we can do a different one. Like,
oh, sure,
it's copyright free.
The Quick and the Odyssey.
Ooh, I like that one. Of the Odyssey Stone.
The Man in the Odyssey Suit. Ooh. That's going into the 50s. Yeah, that's
Attack of the 50-Foot Odyssey.
Oh, there you go.
Since we're keeping it in the 50s.
Maximum Odyssey.
Oh, Stephen King and Christopher Nolan and cocaine.
And
sign
Homer.
Yeah. It'll actually be Odyssey. Homer Simpson this time.
Odyssey on a plane.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll come up with one more. How about Over the Odyssey?
Ooh.
Journey to the Center of the Odyssey.
Nuns on the Odyssey.
Yeah. Nuns make everything better. We got Video Odyssey. Clearly, Shrebels08 remembered I've been watching Videodrome.
Ooh.
And we have, let's see. We have more. Folks, sorry, my camera's broken. It's been a long day, but we have a long show planned for you anyway. The Odyssey is not enough. There we go. Odyssey of the Titanic, live long, and Odyssey hard. I like that one too. So, Script, you took a great nap this weekend, correct?
Yeah, Sunday.
Where were you at when you had said nap?
An IMAX screening of the Odyssey.
Is it really that bad? No.
I mean, I will say this. It was as I was telling you guys before the show, I fell asleep around the time when I think Robert Pattinson put the dog on the dung heap. That's the last thing I kind of remember. What I do remember of the actual film itself, it was a little flat, a little bland. Didn't have it was lacking something. I mean, one part it was lacking is there's no Greek actors. There's that, but yeah, it just did. I mean, it was following a lot of the same points that Nolan is known for doing, like dishing out a narrative that's outside of a mild chronological order, but still kind of works, sort of thing. So, wasn't told in the most linear of fashions. He's playing around with, Odysseus' his son and building up to, is he or is he not really there? And then we get, the a little bit of the payoff there. So it's very Nolan-esque. This is definitely a Christopher Nolan's version of the Odyssey. It's not Homer's Odyssey or an adaptation of Homer's Odyssey. And I'm fine with that, but I don't know. I've seen that because I have an issue with Christopher Nolan because he has positioned himself as a director that likes to bring fantasy down to realism and justify that as authentic or auteur filmmaking, which I think is a contradiction. And he's one of the only directors I can think of that has the level he has, where he's a director without a sense of wonder, whimsy, imagination, nothing that kind of inspires. It's all about creating a bridge between the fiction and reality and trying to sort of take away the very things that stimulate our imagination by trying to say they're trying to pose the argument, it could happen this way. And I think that's antithetical to storytelling and filmmaking. It's kind of like turning a fantasy into a documentary and pulling out all the things that that make it memorable. But I did get my $25 ticket refunded, so I'm happy.
Yeah, there's a silver lining to every story, if you will. Now, the reason I asked you that is because our friend Treblezade, who's been a member for 41 months, thank you very much for over 3 years of support. I appreciate you, man. He says, hey, Tuesday Night Takeover, Script Doctor, what's your take on the 41 theaters that are running the film The Odyssey are overheating and there's no parts to replace? Now, folks, let me give you a little bit of context. Our pal Robert Meyer Burnett, don't want to give his name incorrectly, had posted something on social media that caught my attention today. And where did I have it? So it looks like we have a shortage issue with the IMAX screens. It doesn't look like there's enough parts to replace what's out there, and not enough people are still either working on it. They have either retired or died. So it looks like to get this true IMAX stuff, here we go. Here's the exact quote from Bill Hunt. There
Bill
are things
cool.
here that, from the digital bits. He's like the dude of like video. I want to talk to him one day about stuff. He says, the scary thing here is that IMAX can't build any more new projectors. They apparently don't have the complete set to engineering blueprints. Most of the engineers who designed them have retired or passed away, and the part supply chain have long since dried up. So the goal for the foreseeable future is to upgrade and keep all the existing projectors running for as long as they can. There's the context for the audience out there, but Script, take it away.
Well, IMAX projectors are very good for building for feature films, or at least for films up to about 90 minutes to 2 hours or so. But it was never designed for what Nolan was doing for it. Now, consequently, I happen to be able to go to Toronto. Toronto has a true IMAX screen at the Scotiabank Theatre. That's on John and Richmond Street for those want or interested. And it is a beautiful sight to behold. Now, as these IMAX projectors fall apart, and they are going to, eventually someone will get 2 or 3 of them, and they'll be able to reverse engineer and replace them. But the problem is that it's going to be of a massive cost than what's initially expected. It just is. There are enough brilliant people out there that could repair and rebuild an IMAX projector. It's just how much are people gonna pay for it? And yeah, as Shrebels points out here, there's not many actual IMAX theaters in North America, let alone the world. True IMAX theaters. There's a number of projectors that can do the closest approximation to IMAX, and they advertise as IMAX, but you can tell that they're not, because the format of the actual screen is far more traditional to your typical cinema screen, where the IMAX is more like the 4x8 version, and you can see it. All I'll say is that, yeah, IMAX is on a temporary ticking clock right now, as I think more projectors start to give out, and that's not going to happen from the Odyssey alone. That's going to happen over the next 20 years or so. There will be a need to replace, to upgrade, to reinvent. But that also comes down to, will people going to movie theaters still be a thing in 20 years' time?
Well, as we're pushing towards this all digital future with video games, it's like everything is set up to keep you at home, which that's fine for some people, but I want to go out and experience this shit. And it's, if this kind of stuff dies, let's say Nolan will still be making movies in 20 years. He's, I guess, single-handedly getting people to go watch IMAX at this rapid pace. If the IMAX goes away, how do you think that affects Nolan's career? Do you think he'll be at a point where nobody will give a shit anymore, or will they be like, oh, your movies only seem like events when they're projected like this?
This is technically the first fully length feature fictional film shot entirely in IMAX. When the early days of IMAX, there was a documentary of a Canadian wilderness of like Lake Superior, if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely fantastic visuals. Really showed you like the best thing that you can get from a camera lens on 70 odd millimeter at the time. And for Nolan, I think it's the technology, and he's a bag of gimmicks and tricks, and it works on marketing, and it can work definitely for cinephiles. And I absolutely love how cinephiles get excited when they hear, oh, we got a 33 millimeter or 70 millimeter print that we're showing at a screen, and they just lose their minds over it, because it's great to see that high quality on the screen. But Christopher Nolan has also destroyed a few IMAX cameras and thinks nothing of it. And I think that's a problem, because those are super expensive, and it costs IMAX a lot of money to rebuild them or replace them. And as Shrebels08 says, there are, and also as Bill Hunt has said, yeah, the people that know how to do this stuff, they're retiring or they've passed away, and they haven't shared all that information with the next generation, either through negligence or through miscommunication. Like, IMAX is a company that, from me from the outside looking in, seems like it's kind of shrinking a little bit, even though like the film is still being developed and they're still building cameras for it and still pushing the boundaries of what they can do. It's just it's peculiar. But I mean, the overheating part, I think that's kind of funny, because IMAX projectors, they're not supposed to run as long as they do, as frequently as they do. Like, and I don't know, man, like I'm at a loss at this point. It's just, yeah, you hear the story and you're like, man, these things are kind of really being pushed to the limit. And I do like the idea, like filmmakers trying to push technology to the limit, but there's also a point where, hey, if it does go over that limit, can we fix it? Can we replace it? Can we get a new one? And IMAX, as said, not 100% sure on that.
You make a good point when you talk about the technological advances. Parallel to what I'm going to say is, I've been playing this game called Cyberpunk, which is, it's 5 years old, but it's supposed to be this technological marvel. And I'm playing it, and I'm feeling that this game is so over-engineered. And what I'm going to get at with the movie point is, I feel like we've reached a point where we're just trying to sell a gimmick to get people to go watch something, and it doesn't really increase the experience. Because I can watch a movie from 45 years ago and get something out of it. But if I watch something new that cost $500 million to make and was made with the world's most expensive cameras, it's still a movie. I'm still watching the screen. It doesn't make the experience any better. And I just feel like with most entertainment consumption, we've reached the peak of everything. Like, for example, gaming really can't get much better. Toys are photorealistic and they can't get much better. More expensive, but not much better. The engineering has reached a peak. Movies, what are the big popular ones? If it's not a name brand like Nolan, it's like independent shit that just people are watching because it was cheap and it made a bunch of money. I feel like it's a losing battle for the big companies. Like, I don't care if Paramount and Warner Brothers merge, they're not going to make stuff that's going to make them money anymore. But I think
not only that, they're never going to hit that 30 movies a year target either, because there's 52 weekends in a year. Yeah, if one studio is producing 30 films, they're going to be in competition with each other at some point.
Oh, Disney is in competition with itself. They had a Star Wars Solo came out, and then like Infinity War came out like right in that same window.
Yeah,
it cannibalized the other one. It's just crazy how this is. It seems like everything's collapsing in terms of like entertainment consumption. They tried to sell you streaming as the cheap alternative, then everybody jumped to it. Then it didn't make them enough money. Now
it became cable.
Yeah. And also, too, I was reading an article earlier today talking about our favorite franchise, Star Wars, over on Jedi Temple Archives, and it was discussing how, what do you feel about the franchise? And I'd say 90% of the articles were like, yeah, it's over, it's done. And I see that with everything. We're supposed to be getting pumped for the Avengers. Like, what can they do to get us excited? I don't know. And I don't think it's the fans this time.
No, I think they lost the momentum with how they followed up Endgame. I would say, like, Spider-Man Far From Home, not the best of the three, but not enough to push people away from the franchise as a whole. But everything that kind of came after that was really like not building up from what, or not continuing or building up from what was already established. It was aimless.
Well, they effectively tried doing with the MCU what Marvel Comics did back in 2012, 2013, when they did All New as that initiative, and they started swapping in characters, and without having actually built up genuine fan endearment to the characters. It was just like, oh, this schmuck's here now, or this person's now taking over this title. They didn't do the work. The reason why the first three phases of the MCU was so wildly, unprecedentedly successful was because they did the work. They endeared these characters to audiences, general audiences, schmucks who didn't know, Thanos from Adam up until they had, had him appear in the movies. But all of a sudden, all of these characters are household names after building out this cinematic universe for a decade. But now you're just swapping out all of these characters that audiences did love and swapping in characters that either they don't know or they barely know, in a lot of cases never heard of before. And it was very jarring for audiences. It was jarring for me as a comic book fan, even though it's something that, like, honestly, I think some of us kind of predicted that was going to be the case. But now they don't have the momentum, just as you said. That momentum has long since been gone. I want to be excited for Doomsday. There were moments in the trailer where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then other moments where I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, you just have the Fantastic Four and the Wakandans and the Atlanteans all standing around, in a just kind of a soulless area. Like, there was nothing dramatic to the scene. It just looked like they were all, I've seen like coloring book drawings of like the Pilgrims and the Indians meeting from when I was like 6 years old that looked more dramatic than that scene. The excitement's just not there for people. And I want to be excited.
Well, look, that's the perfect transition. Let's talk about this trailer because, it's supposed to be the big movie event. We're supposed to be like, Disney hopes that we are secretly setting alarms on our phones for Doomsday. Like, this is supposed to be the marketing gimmick of the event, of the season, of the, like, everything. It's supposed to be the biggest of all time. And it doesn't feel like that. It literally feels
No,
like,
not
hey,
even.
remember that thing from 10 years ago? This is like, that was the brown version. This is the gray version. You want a bunch of CGI heroes fighting in a fucking field? Well, we're going to give it to you again because you liked it 10 years ago. Like, it is so hard to talk about this stuff and try to take a positive spin. This is one of those situations where if somebody comes up to me and says, oh, you're just a hater. I say, no, I have eyes. I've seen this shit. You must not, or your head's up your ass.
Cyclops looked cool. I'll give it that.
Look at, there are certain visuals that look cool. Not everything has to be 100% a fail to be absolute trash. But let's ask ourselves a question. Seriously, everybody in the chat, pay attention right now. Yes or no? Do you give a shit about Shang-Chi?
No.
Why?
I immediately like quoted or like quote tweeted a post that was like showing that shot of Gambit versus Shang-Chi. And to be clear, I still haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine because I don't honestly care because I don't like Deadpool and I hated the second movie. So I've not had any interest to see
You're
the
going to
third.
hate this one then. Seriously, like take it from a guy who doesn't like Deadpool, the character, just the first movie. Dude, Deadpool 3 is so insufferable. It's like going to a Comic-Con where everybody repeats the same line over and over. It's just that as a movie. Like all he does is gush over Wolverine. It's like homoerotic. That's the joke. Ryan Reynolds has to put his face in every scene. His wife's in the fucking movie. Like if you don't worship at the altar of Mint Mobile and all that other crap he represents, this is not anybody's movie. Like
that's a hard pass. That's a hard pass. I haven't
crossover stuff for the new universe because it's the TVA from Loki for 5 minutes, and then it's like over, and then this multiverse crap has been a fucking waste. Sorry,
no, it really has. I mean,
it's been a waste of time, and honestly, a lot of it feels like it's a hard pivot right now from what the initial multiversal stuff was that they had planned with Kang and all of that. Obviously, that went south because of Jonathan Majors stuff and Ant-Man 3 doing horribly. And so. Yeah, like even then, that all being said, and having no experience with Channing Tatum, who I find to be a mid actor at best, and that might be even being generous.
He's played up for laughs though. Like in Deadpool 3, he has like a really shitty accent, and every line he says is it's played up for a joke. And the whole point I was going to make is, if nobody in the chat cared about Shang-Chi, why is Shang-Chi versus Gambit supposed to sell a movie? Like, Marvel keeps forgetting that not all the little toys in their chest matter. If it showed up at Ollie's in the numbers that it did, it means that it was not adopted by mainstream audiences. And mainstream audiences need to adopt these characters for them to stay in the public eye forever. The first
kids didn't want the toys for Christmas. Collectors didn't want the toys for the shelves.
Or $1, dude. Shang-Chi was $1, Bob, and I didn't buy a single one. Yeah, that's no joke. Same thing with the Black Panther toys. Could we stop with the forcing of Wakanda? I am not a white dude. I am so tired of Wakanda. I just want to just fucking run my head into a wall when I see Shuri or M'Baku or any of this bullshit. Look, the actor that passed away was a good dude who was taking care of sick kids as a sick dude himself. We all have respect for him. But Disney was stupid and lazy and cheap to try to cash in on that goodwill and create more Black Panther without him. Let's just do the noble thing and recast like we always do. Hey, you didn't like Terrence Howard? Oh, well, we got Don Cheadle now. Why can't we replace Chadwick Boseman with another actor of equal talent?
If we can replace Christopher Reeve, we can replace anybody.
Exactly. Recasting is not an offense to the Black community or culture or whatever you want to say. Like Disney.
No, because what are they going to do? Replace him with a white guy? No, they would have just replaced him with another black guy.
I don't know. Ryan Gosling as White Tiger would be a great hit if you ask me. No, sorry to cut you off, Script. What were you saying, man?
No, I'm in all agreement here. The other part that's actually quite tragic about this trailer is that it follows a lot of the same stuff that was used, I think, from Age of Ultron. It's Thor narrating something about some horrific. I've never faced a villain this powerful before. All that type of front-loaded expositional drama, as if to build up something that only the people who are aware with Marvel and the characters prior outside of the films have any type of context to. It's just, we're building up Doctor Doom. Okay, great. I mean, listen,
there's been no building up of Doctor Doom. That's the problem.
Well, the trailer's building up Doctor Doom. And I mean, the thing is, you don't really need to build up to Doctor Doom. You just bring him up there. You make sure that the introduction is plausible and fits within the with what's established. And you just kind of, let him loose on the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, etc. because he's not just a technological genius, but he's also a wielder of dark arts. And there's a
Latvian
lot,
magic as well.
yeah, there's a lot there that that you can play with. But I will say, like, Marvel made through an accident of its own doing, made a pattern of, well, we're going to show these decent bad villains, and each one is going to be a stepping stone to the big bad that the Avengers will eventually have to face. And now they haven't done that this time around. I mean, they tried to, as you said earlier, with Kang, but they took Kang, who is a really fascinating character in the MCU. He hasn't always been done. No, sorry, not the MCU. In Marvel Comics, he hasn't always been done well, but he's got an edge to his villainy that is really hard for the Avengers to overcome, and that's the concept of time travel. And yeah, he can manipulate time, and he has genius level intellect and all those things. They squandered it.
Oh yeah.
And now they've basically kicked it to the side, and they brought in Doom, and it seems more like a panic move than a calculated one. And now we got a trailer that's really, it's going to be thin as a film, even though it's probably going to be about 3 hours, because it's jam-packed with all these comic characters. And what Marvel Cinematic Universe and Marvel Studios has been doing right now is creating the very same problem that started in the 80s with crossover events, where every page features one character. Out of a 22-page book, you get almost no story. And even if you do collect everything, it's like 500 pages of a story that's so slow and somewhat boring to a point that even if you try to recount it or summarize it to your friends, you have a struggle doing so. Like, I've had friends when I was like 8 or 9, telling me like, oh yeah, like I read Crisis on Infinite Earths from DC back in the early 80s. And they're saying, like, you got to read it. It's a story about like all the Earths, being like erased. And it's like, okay, and how do they? What's the method to stop that? Oh, well, they got to build some things. And do they? Yeah. And then what happens? Well, stuff kind of like merges into one. And things get purged, and and that's usually how they trail off, unless they're like the huge diehard comic book fan, in which case they make it very exciting. But Crisis on Infinite Earths has a lot of interesting aspects to it. Great use of the Flash, I would say, but it's so slow because it's trying to do everything at once. And here we have Avengers Doomsday kind of trying to do everything at once, by the way of this trailer, by way of the leaks coming out, by way of the cast that's there. It's just, tell a simple story with complex characters, balance it out, entertain.
I don't think multiverse crossover and all this stuff works, because look, we know we're getting to the same end result, either Crisis on Infinite Earths or this film. It's all about this grand reset. But in the comic book world, it works because you go from a convoluted timeline to the new John Byrne Superman, or I think Batman continued on for a minute. Year One came out after that. But my point I'm getting at is, we're not on a comic book page. Batman's Batman. You might get a different artist. You might have Jim Aparo. You might have Frank Miller. You might have Marshall Rogers. Who knows, drawing Batman. But it's still Batman. When you got these Marvel movies, you don't get Captain America. You're going to get, like, if Chris Evans comes back, awesome. But more than likely, they're just going to recast this. And then it's going to be, it's a weird thing to do. Because you don't, at the end of the day, get the ultimate version of Marvel, where it's the Fox X-Men and the good Avengers and Spider-Man. You can argue if you want Toby or Tom Holland, but like, you'll get that for 5 seconds to watch them die. And I think that's going to piss off more people than it's going to get people hype for this movie. I think Marvel is setting themselves up to shoot themselves in the foot. And I'm not saying this is going to be a failure by any means. It'd be silly to bet against it, but I don't think this makes Endgame money. I don't think this even makes Infinity War money. We are so far removed from a Marvel $2 billion picture, it's not even funny.
And I also don't think that Disney's expecting it to make money. They're expecting to get something different. I suspect that it's going to have a solid opening, and they'll be relatively happy with that. But it's all about, can we get people after this movie comes out to come see the next one?
That's what it is. They have spent the better part of the last, 5 years, losing all of the goodwill that they built up over the prior decade, and slowly and in some cases not so slowly, like pushing their audience into a position of apathy towards their cinematic universe by putting out film after film that just nobody cared enough to go see. And those that did go see it, one, didn't care enough to go back or to tell their friends to go see it. So that should tell you a lot, right? The word of mouth is powerful when it comes to movies having legs. Nobody wanted to talk about the films outside of YouTubers, right? There was probably more talk about a lot of those films in the last few years by YouTubers than there was anybody else that went to actually go see them. What Marvel Studios needs this movie to do, they don't need it to be a great movie. They don't, like you said, Script, they don't need it to be a $2 billion movie. They need it to at least reignite something resembling enthusiasm in the general audience, not the diehard comic fans. Mm-hmm. We already stepped away a long time ago, right? But the general audience, the audience that is like orders of magnitude larger than the diehard comic book audience, because that's what films are. Movies are a normie medium, right? They're a general audience consumer product, right? And they need to get general audiences excited again. And that's what this movie needs to do. They need to have a really good opening weekend that excites people enough to tell their friends and their family, like, hey, like Marvel's like at least kind of on the right track again. This movie was actually fun. Maybe it was a little thin on the story quality side, but still had a good time. Don't feel bad about spending like $25 plus 15 for popcorn or whatever, right? That's what they need this to do. And I think between this and Spider-Man Brand New Day, this is like their year of big swings to reinvigorate their audience. I just don't know if it's actually going to happen. Spider-Man's going to make crap tons of money. It's just, that's inevitable. This movie, I don't think is going to do poorly, but I don't know if this is the one that's going to reinvigorate people in wanting to get invested back in the MCU. Spider-Man's a whole different thing. Spider-Man could do $3 billion and it's not going to reinvigorate people in the MCU because it's just Spider-Man. People give a crap about Spider-Man no matter what or when.
Like, also, too, you got to look at it like this. The Sam Raimi movies came out in an era where you didn't have interconnected anything. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man made all that money. Spider-Man's always been Marvel's A-list hero. Like, I once got into an argument with some old asshole. I won't say his name because he's a famous author, but we got into this argument. He's like, the Fantastic Four are still Marvel's premiere. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I said, nobody cares about the Fantastic Four.
They haven't been premiere in decades.
And I was 100% correct. I'm going to pat myself on the back like an a-hole. But the thing is, I told everybody the Fantastic Four First Steps will not be a huge hit because I'm using my life as an example. I'm almost 40. The Fantastic Four haven't been relevant my entire life. Yeah, they had a shitty cartoon in 1994. Whoop-de-doo. So did Iron Man.
And 3 bad movies.
And yeah, the 05 one is more tolerable than the 07 and the 2015 one by a mile.
Yeah.
Are they good?
Oh, wait, they had 4 bad movies.
You know what?
I just realized that. That's right. We had Rise of Silver Surfer too.
But here's the thing, dude. The Roger Corman one was never meant to be like a real movie. It was made to hold on to rights. But those people actually tried harder than anyone that has ever played the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Like maybe they didn't have the budget, which they didn't. They couldn't afford CGI because it really wasn't a thing in '94 the way it is now.
The thing suit, however, was pretty good for that nothing budget.
Yeah. And they all tried. That's what I give credit to. Like Roger Corman lied to him, but that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to jump back to a point you made, Andrew, about how this is desperation to get the normies back. So I think there are multiple audiences. I don't fall into the diehard comic audience anymore because I don't read modern comics. I just don't like them. I'm an art guy. I fall into the former diehard, like I know Marvel like history because I read those big books, the coffee table books on this stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like the comic book fans that know every intricacy of the modern stuff. Then there's the guys like me that can tell you the production history of this crap with my eyes closed and know the characters and stuff, but like the movies and accept the changes. And then I do think there's the normie people. And I don't think the normie people are aware enough that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing Dr. Doom. And I think it's going to cause so much confusion. And they're going to go, wait, Iron Man, the bad guy? And I think that's going to turn so many people off. Because it's not...
It very well may.
You can't take away Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man. It's like if you had Hugh Jackman play Daredevil. You're gonna be like, wait, what?
Oh,
Wolverine's Daredevil?
why?
That makes no sense. Exactly.
Yeah, bad
And
idea.
I think that's gonna hurt them. And I think for brand awareness, I think you're gonna piss people off too, because people are like, oh man, the X-Men are back, and then they die. Oh man, Tobey Maguire, sweet, dead. Like, people emotionally are attached to these characters. People are much different than they used to be. I don't know if it's the pandemic or just internet wearing down their sense of normalcy, but I think you're gonna piss people off, and I don't think they're gonna care to come back for Secret Wars, which, here's my hot take of the night. Secret Wars is not a very good comic book. It just sold a toy line, and dudes that are in their 50s are nostalgic for the toys. But I've read that book. It's not great. The art's solid, the story's shit. And I don't think there's enough brand recognition, because outside of Spider-Man getting the black suit, that story means nothing to like greater comics. Does anyone know who the Beyonder is?
Okay, I don't count because I read comic books, but people in the chat and most people in the world have no idea who the Beyonder is, or most of the characters that make an appearance in Secret Wars. That's just a fact.
See,
so you're right.
If they would have done this a different way, where instead of rushing to Thanos to kill everybody off and reset, if they would have just kept that main cast and stopped bringing all the B-list characters, because I don't have to use the phrase diversity characters, because Iron Fist has been Asian the whole time. You have all these different walks of life characters, but they chose the B-list ones. Like, if you like there was a gun pointed to these people's heads, you should have just paid the money and adapted the X-Men, and you got everything covered. That way we don't have to sit with your fake garbage like, oh man, Shang-Chi and the Eternals are such big deals. No, they're not. Oh, what about Captain Marvel? Look, you turned off 1 million people from ever wanting to watch your movie because you had some actors talk down to them. People remember this crap. Like, it doesn't just go away. In 10 years, people are still going to say, oh, I hated being called a man baby by Ryan Johnson, or Paul Feig calling me a loser. Like, you got to keep your words soft. Eventually you'll have to eat them. And I think Marvel has allowed enough garbage to be said about their brand and enough apathy to set in that I don't care if this thing got 500 million views on YouTube. The only people that are going to benefit are Marvel from the ad revenue sales. This isn't the game changer. I think December is going to be
congratulations. You got
a dumpster fire.
You know, hundreds of millions of people to watch a free trailer on YouTube. Right?
Yeah.
Like, is that same amount of people going to go and spend $25 and 3 hours of their evening to go see your movie?
Yeah, I'd say about 30% would, and that's fair enough. But I mean, to your point, this is again, I saw the writing on a wall just at the turn of the year, at least, where there's no way Disney was willing to throw as much money at this movie as possible just to get the reputation back. Has nothing to do with the box office. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely good people say, like, you know, box office doom, box office failure, all that type of stuff. Disney's already aware of that. You're not going to get under their skin. All they care about is once this movie leaves theaters, once it gets onto streaming and people start pirating it and seeing it for free or what have you in any venue, will it encourage them to go to see the next iteration in theaters? That's what Disney's banking on right now. That's
Do you think that'll work? Like, do you think that people just play Nostradamus? Do you think people will be going next year to see Secret Wars?
I wish I could give you a solid answer on that. I'm 50-50 at this point, because it all comes down to, I mean, if the leaks are real, I would say no. If the leaks are not real and the movie ends up having enough momentum and a good cliffhanger, then I would say, yeah, I think you'd probably get a whole bunch of people coming in for Secret Wars.
What if the three of us are really amped by this movie?
I mean, if I come out of the theater from this and I'm like, you know what? That was actually fun. That felt like more true to form MCU that I enjoyed. I'll say it. But if I walk out of that theater apathetic, I'm going to be like, you know, they either took a half-ass swing or they swung and they whiffed, you know, and I'll just call balls and strikes. I would rather come out of it and be hyped, though. Like, that's what I want. I want to enjoy things.
Oh, dude, I'm happy when I'm pleasantly surprised or wrong. I mean, I'm trying to think of one. Like, I didn't think He-Man was going to be as good as it was. I was happy to enjoy that thing. Or, but then again, I go see The Mandalorian. It looked pretty mid. It was completely mid. And tomorrow's video, folks, is must not miss because we have reached a new level of stupidity and greed from our friends at the Walt Disney Company. No, seriously, I can't hype this or overhype this one enough. When I tell people about it tomorrow, they're going to go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And they're going to watch this video with their jaws on the floor. So, folks, might I suggest
okay,
because your oral hygiene is important and you never know where that jaw is going to drop. So be prepared, be in a safe place because this video is going to make you go, "I can't believe they're doing this." And it'll make you also say, "I can't believe people are dumb enough to buy into this crap." But Disney Star Wars has reached a new low, and it's embarrassingly sad. It's not offensive, don't worry. But this trailer coming out yesterday with Spider-Man today, I want to feel like I did 10 years. Well, 2018 was probably when I was the most excited for these movies because, man, Infinity War had me pumped, and man, did it deliver. I think I've watched that movie 40 times. That's not a joke. It used to be on Netflix, and I'd be working on a book or working on something for the channel, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'll put Infinity War on." And then I'd get distracted, and I'd be like, I'll just put it back on. And, I'm working on stuff, doing shit. It was just that Marvel movie for me. We were all jazzed about it. You can listen to the review. For me, I just hate Endgame. I think that movie blows, and that's the one that I can't watch. And to me, it's a movie of missed opportunities. But I'd be lying if I wasn't hyped going into it. So I want to feel that again because I like this shit. Like, I like the unity that superhero movies bring. I mean, I've dedicated my life to draw comics and crap, so clearly I like it. But I can't allow a feeling that I'm chasing or a loyalty, quote unquote, to something to blind me to garbage entertainment because it's not even entertainment anymore. It's just content. Let's check in with the audience. Let's see. The Doom overglaze is already happening. Wait, you're not excited to see all these dudes go around Comic-Con this year and do a fake European accent and try to act like Robert Downey Jr.?
Latverian accent. Yeah.
That voice was terrible, by the way. Sorry.
I could barely make out what was going on with that. Yeah.
It was jarring for me because that's not really how Doom speaks.
I mean, based on half dozen versions of his audio we've gotten in cartoons, yeah.
I like the Darth Vader Doctor Doom. That's the Doctor Doom I think is the most intimidating because he's scary, or at least trying to be scary.
Yeah.
I mean, Doom himself is actually a scary villain. The dude's powerful as hell, but I don't know. I Marvel, convince me.
Well, I think you need the way to get Doctor Doom to work is you got to have the Fantastic Four work. And we watched the movie. He's not a part of it besides the end credits. See, I liked when they would do these movies where they did not have a guarantee of a sequel or a shared universe. So they're like, we're throwing everything in this one.
Yep.
Like Spider-Man, we're throwing all the iconic stuff that we can do with the Green Goblin. We're even going to throw the night Gwen Stacy died into this movie. If this is our only Spidey film, this will be one that you remember that covers the character. Same with Batman 89, you can't say Superman because they shot two at the same time. But they always go the Sony approach like they did with those Spider-Man movies. It's not about this movie, it's about the next 5. And we saw that Sony messed that up. I don't know why it's so hard to set it up. Like, set us up a Fantastic Four movie that deals with Doctor Doom and Galactus. Or just because what I didn't need out of that movie was all of the random Earth stuff, how the people looked at the Fantastic Four and this world they tried to build, because we'll never go back to that reality. They're gone, right?
That world, they were the rulers of that world. That's what creeped me out about First Steps.
But they were benevolent rulers. Come on, man.
Regardless, like Reed Richards says, we're going to build these portals around the world and everybody's going to cut their power, and they just decide to do it. It's like, how do you pull that off? Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I could totally understand why Doom would be hateful against Reed Richards. He's like this benevolent, ruler, but instead of, even if he's benevolent, the entire planet is so dependent on him and his family that they couldn't function on their own without them. And that's terrifying. And that'd be a better story to have told as a follow-up to Fantastic Four and before you get to Doomsday and everything. It's like the Fantastic Four did so much good that they've turned humanity into a dependent species on 4 individuals. And what happens when those 4 individuals vanish? What will happen to the world afterwards? Will it go into chaos?
I'm not sure.
This is just a better science fiction story I'm kind of riffing off right now than what we'll ever get from Marvel.
Doesn't it make you sad when you think about what could be, but what you actually will get?
Yeah.
Let's check in with the audience because we've had 2 messages roll in. Our friend Overkill161 says, Ryan Reynolds and Rob Zombie. Look at my wife. All right, folks. Who do you like more, Sherry Moon Zombie or Blake Lively? I'll pick Blake Lively because I actively hate Rob Zombie films.
Yeah, Blake Lively can actually act.
I actually like
knows
Blake
how to wear
Lively
makeup
as an actor. Though obviously that's all the recent controversy stuff aside, I would have to say Blake Lively between the two.
So I don't really follow Hollywood drama. I know Andy from Popcorn Planet covered a lot of that, so I would just look at his tweets. But didn't they not get in trouble? Like, wasn't there a court case or something? I don't care. Don't answer it.
I don't know. I don't care anymore.
I stopped following it before it resolved because I was all right, it's a Hollywood people drama.
The last celebrity case I cared about was Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because how do you not follow that one? That's
the entire world was watching. That was like,
it's pretty impressive. I'm wondering, will Johnny get all those alpacas from Disney?
I hope so.
Is he ever coming back as Captain Jack Sparrow?
Everyone
there's
has
new head
a
at
price.
Disney right now. It all depends on if that guy can win him over.
I think Disney just needs to stop with whatever they're doing and just go, this is famous, this is iconic, people will come back to see it. No, like, the people that have a problem with him shouldn't even have an opinion on the matter. Like, this is a business. It's cold and objective. Do what makes money and what the audience wants, because what the audience wants will make money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get it. You don't want the audience to write these things, but having their favorite character show up is definitely going to move more tickets than some random lady replacing the role because we got to appease Twitter, or sorry, Blue Sky. People on Twitter ran away. Our friend Sejourgia with a very generous super chat. Thank you, Sejourgia. And he says, found out an old high school friend. And by the way, Shrubbles08, whoever wrote the one about fanboys, I did not mean to skip you. I'm going right back to it. It disappeared because it went from this one to that one. So the fanboys one disappeared, but I'll look. But it says, I found out an old high school friend that is a historical cultural expert for films. Aside from creating that ending for a certain film, he said many times he's sitting around playing with his phone, iPad, eating, and getting paid for it.
Well, rough gig.
Get that job? I'll take on a second career. I'm very good on my cell phone.
Yeah.
What do you guys look at for a cultural expert in film? Do you think that a cultural expert should be objective? Because I don't think you're going to get a lot of that today. I think you're going to get too many people looking at the lens of culturally important films through the modern lens and judging them without looking at their actual cultural relevance. I think you see that online constantly. And
I saw that before the internet constantly. I knew friends that were self-proclaimed cinephiles, but all they would do is just laud the stuff that won awards, whether it was the Academy Awards, Golden Globes, anything. It's like, oh, okay, so you're joining the cult of insider industry. What about the stuff that, doesn't win the awards, but is in the cultural zeitgeist? Like that's what resonates. And that
what's actually culturally impactful at that point.
I mean, there's that speech that Steven Spielberg made saying like there's brilliant films that never won an award, yet they're the reason why so many more filmmakers exist today. And that broke people like the one I just described. Like, because their hero, the guy that won the award that always makes movies that get nominated, just said, yeah, not every great movie does get nominated. And they couldn't reconcile with that. And you got the same thing on the social media world stage as well. It's like, does it go viral? Does it feature an influencer, or does it feature a great YouTuber or whatever type of thing out there? That's what's culturally significant, because they buck to the system type of thing, as opposed to, hey, it's a great story, well told. And yeah, just kind of makes its way through there. I'll cite the Shawshank Redemption. That movie bombed in theaters, yet it's a cultural phenomenon. Like
Yeah.
people love that movie.
And by those film historians' point of view, they would look at something like Chariots of Fire. Oh, it's better than Raiders of the Lost Ark, or more important because it won the Oscar that year. But do you see anybody dressing
Talking
up
about it?
like the 1924 Olympic men's running team? No. But you can't go to a convention and not see Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yes, there's so many people I've met that said Percy Williams, he's the greatest runner from the 1920 Olympics. 100-meter dash in 10.5 seconds. Nobody's ever going to beat that. That never comes up in conversation.
So, Georgian, thank you very much. Like I said, if you can find me an application or a link, send that to info@worldclassbullshitters.com, and I will take on that job tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, if they need more, we're getting time this winter.
I think the thing. Oh, there's Leighton Swallows. Okay, I think the thing that a guy like me they would hate though is like they would ask me to look at the modern dumbs. Let me rephrase that because I want to use it a more accurate lens. They would want me to look at art through a certain lens because of my appearance, or they think they know me, and I think I would probably offend them greatly because I try to look at things in the real context, the way that they are historically. And I think that's far more important. I think the internet looks at that too. Now, I don't think enough people out there care about these things, but I think if enough people that are the hardcore fans that always make their opinions known, I think we can at least keep that conversation alive, and we don't have to just roll over and lose that part of our film discussion, because film is important. That's why I always get mad when they alter movies for modern sensibilities. A movie is a time capsule to when it was made. Back to the Future is literally what 1985 looks like, or maybe late 84, depending when it was shot. But like, you can't ever say we need a more accurate interpretation of the 80s. It's like they just took a camera and went outside. Same thing with a lot of these films. Oh, I find the joke in Bill and Ted offensive. Well, tough shit. That's how people talked in 1988. That's what people acted like to a more extreme degree. But in 1988, you had that kind of stuff. Or a Spicoli. Like, I don't think people could watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High in today's world without getting offended. It's frustrating. And it makes me want to shut those people off, because I respect people, but man, I don't give a shit what they have to say. Sorry, folks. I gotta be honest about it. Leighton Swallow, thank you for being a member for 14 months. He says, have you seen the movie Fanboys, made in 2008? And reminds me a lot of what our community is doing with Stealing Solo. Not quite a stoner comedy. Oh, dude, I have seen Fanboys many times. Fanboys was not an inspiration on Stealing Solo as much as it was something that I had seen a bunch. Now, my favorite part of Fanboys is at the very end when they go, what if it sucks? That has become part of my life, where we talk about something big and I go, but what if it sucks? And then we all kind of like laugh. Fanboys is a great movie. It's got Carrie Fisher. It's got a great Star Wars or Star Trek dichotomy and commentary. If you haven't seen it, folks, I would highly recommend it. And it's got great acting too, and it's got a heart. I think it paints George, even though he's a fictionalized version, I think it paints George Lucas in a great light. I think it paints Star Wars fandom in a great light. It's a movie that you couldn't make today, though, because it would be looked at as either offensive or too white or just some dumb crap that it doesn't have the equal representation that the Twitter mob would cave into. And I don't think people making movies would ignore them. I think they would make it appeal to that, and it would be a very dishonest look at Star Wars fandom in late 90s. So yeah. I think it's great. But thank you, Leighton Swallow. And then also Crouching Taylor Hidden Swift says Avengers 5 will be superficially entertaining. Oh, you mean like explosions and lights and stuff?
Maybe. Hopefully it's more substantive than that.
It's only got 50% of the classic Marvel writing team. Sorry for Doomsday. Sadly, it's only one of them.
Is it McFeely and Marcus and all those guys? Or are those the MCU
McFeely
people?
and Marcus? I think it's only McFeely.
Now, I know this is obviously conjecture, but do you think it's a situation where the guy stepped away because he was bored, or they just didn't want him anymore? Or
I wish I knew, because those two as a writing pair did really well with Marvel. And I know Yeah, Marcus is the one that didn't come back for Doomsday. And I don't know why. If they had a falling out, like it hasn't crossed my communities outside of this place. But yeah, to see that it's just him doing Secret Wars and Doomsday essentially alone. I mean, he's got the Russo brothers, but it's not really like they're gonna have their input, but it's gonna be McFeely at the end of the day. That's just weird because they did 9 major projects together. It's made the best 9 MCU pieces, and now only one of them's coming back for Doomsday. Was it really a flip of the coins? Like, listen, we spent $100 million on Robert Downey Jr. We got another $100 million for the Russo brothers. We cannot afford a second writer, so we're just gonna pick one and go from there. Like, I wonder if that's the decision, because
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in 2026.
it would be negligible accounting and direction, because it's like if your whole goal is to recapture that lightning in a bottle that you had in those first 3 phases, you might want to pick every single person that's alive that you can who helped make those first 3 phases great, bring them back and see if they can capture lightning in a bottle again.
I want them to. I just don't think they will. The X-Men stuff, it doesn't feel cheesy. It just feels like we've been here before. Old Professor X, old Magneto on the brink of destruction from Sentinels. It seems just like Days of Future Past from 12 years ago.
Yeah.
This multiversal experiment is almost over, I hope. I don't want this anymore, because it's like we keep getting the same loop, like we lived in Groundhog Day, where it's just over and over and over again. Hey, you remember this? We're bringing it back again. That's all I can say. I mean, clearly I'm so excited about this trailer. I've an endless font of excitement. Let's see. What about these current regime about censorship bills in Canada, Scripts, since you're up there?
Sadly, I've been too busy to follow up on this, so I don't really know what's going on. I know that there's a number of bills that are going to the Senate to be approved, and I don't think many of them are, because even though the Senate in Canada it's not as balanced as it could be, I can't recall them. They have actually done things that I would argue are right. Like they got very close to essentially no, they ended up denying the legality, I think, of the Emergencies Act that Trudeau did during the pandemic and the trucker convoy. But Trudeau already rescinded it before they could complete the paperwork on their decision. But essentially they said, yeah, that you couldn't do that. So I don't know. I'll have to catch up on that. But thanks, Ruin McDick Pants, for that. I'll check into it now that things are kind of balancing out on my schedule.
So Georgian says, a friend got the job through nepotism. Also, did you see the Avengers Doomsday Mystique? Literally they recycled a Star Wars costume for her. I did see that picture, and first thing I thought was, all right, you can't have comic accurate costumes because apparently some loser on Twitter is going to get offended. It's not like, 26 years ago, we didn't have her walking around naked the whole movie. Like, yeah. I get that the internet exists if you need to get your rocks off. No judgment for what you're into, as long as it's legal. But like, if Mystique was acceptable in 2000 to look like that, a comic costume of her in like white with the skull belt and that necklace, you can get Cyclops close enough. You can get Wolverine close enough. Why can't Mystique look close enough? Like, who's going to get offended? It's dumb.
What it looks like is it kind of reminds me of, because I don't think it looks awful, but I would prefer a more accurate costume for sure, because I like Mystique. But the issue is that it looks like if you guys are familiar with the Injustice Gods Among Us video games, it looks like somebody put it through that filter, where they're like, it kind of has the shape and color scheme of the classic costume, but then they add a bunch of extra crap to it for no reason whatsoever. You know, though I guess you could even simplify it further down to just they added MCU lines to a suit that had no need for them.
Let me show a picture of this to the chat real quick. I'm just glad it's Rebecca Romijn and not what's her face,
J-Law. Yeah.
J-Law.
Yeah.
God, not a fan of that actress at all.
No.
Great. Now I can't find a picture of it because I don't think is it the one with the pants. Yeah, shit.
It's the one with the white. It's like she's in a white bodysuit.
Yeah, I saw the picture earlier today, but is this real or is this fan made? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. This might be it because it looks like to me it looked like a Star Wars costume. I was like, wait, is this really, is this it? No, it's
No, that's not what she was wearing in the
I don't know.
can't find it.
That looks
See if
like
I
it's
can-
Jennifer Lawrence in the makeup too.
Let's see. Usage rights or time. Past 24 hours. Okay, we got a side by side. Here we go. I believe this is the right one. And Mystique is in a PG-13 movie, so it's not like we're showing anything against the terms of services here on the platform.
Yeah.
But there we go. That's it, right?
that
I mean, the one on the
you know,
left
I
is
don't think
definitely
we've
from-
gotten
wait.
we've gotten a full shot of the suit like in the trailer. I don't think we got a full shot. I think we only ever see her from like the abdomen up.
Okay.
So I think people are just like trying to fill in what they think it's going to look like.
I
Because
don't
I'm
know if the one
seeing
on the
versions
left
of that
is-
exact thing that has like the skirt instead of the pants. So yeah, I think we just don't have a full body look of it yet.
The one on the left looks more like a cosplay of what Rebecca Main was in X-Men. That there's something off about that one.
Probably is. I just thought the wig looked really weird.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, and I don't mean like, oh, it's not up to my style of haircut because I don't have a preference at a haircut, but I just think it looks like a wig, like cheesy looking. Where
Mhm.
I mean, this is $1 billion movie. I expect all the parts to look right. Like Marvel doesn't have any leeway to have hokey costumes. It's 2026. They have perfected the muscle suit and the LED whatever on the body. Like we've seen the mountaintop of these great designs. And I gotta say, like Thor, here's a positive I wanted to bring up. I'm excited for Thor in a different way because Thor should have been the pillar of phase 4 and 5, like post Endgame when he overcame the depression of Asgard and lost the weight and got back into doing his Thor thing. He should have been the one to pop up. He should have been the one to be like, oh, Thor showed up at the end of Thunderbolts or something, or this and that. He should have been how Coulson was, because he's the only remnant that's available of the original team. People like the character, and I think Thor in the MCU has more depth than people give him credit, because the first movie is about a god learning humility to be a human and all that fun stuff, and he continues to grow and care for people, and it's like every movie he's a little more evolved or advanced or whatever you want to call him. And he's like Thor and Captain America are the two characters I was like, oh, okay, cool, they're in it. But even Cap looks off. He looks old. It's like he doesn't get to wear the suit or the shield. I don't give a shit that it's a dude in a black t-shirt with a hammer. Like, have the Falcon stay home. Have him sit this one out. Nobody's going to miss him. He got his own movie. Nobody went and saw it. It was a Hulk movie in disguise. But we have to humor
a Red Hulk movie.
Sam Wilson.
At that.
That movie was garbage.
Still haven't seen it. No plans of changing that.
I'm going to tell you how the whole movie right here. Think of the Winter Soldier, except we replace Captain America and Falcon with the new versions. It's the same movie. There's even a bunker scene, but instead of it being Arnim Zola, it's the leader. And outside of the climax, they're slightly different, but the new one sucks.
Yeah, no,
Glad
you're
I
not
passed.
wrong. It does emulate the beats of the Winter Soldier, and Harrison Ford is part of the Winter Soldier when he's Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you guys know how I feel about Harrison Ford, the actor. He couldn't save that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, man, I hope that paycheck is worth it because this is rough.
It buys him a
Well,
lot of weed.
You know, when we make the Stealing Solo movie, he will have an ample supply of that too. That's why he'll be a very happy man to make that. If we can get Seth Rogen to make it, and we'll supply Harrison Ford with the stickiest of the icky, I think Stealing Solo could be a box office hit as well as an Oscar winner. Because I'm sure I check off like 10 diversity boxes. I'm over 6 feet tall. I'm from Ohio. I'm not white. That counts, right?
One of them does. Yeah.
Yeah. Being
you only
tall,
need to
right?
do, like, there's like I think 4 or 5 things you have to, or 4 or 5 categories you have to hit, and you only really have to hit 50% of them to qualify. I can't remember. I haven't looked it over in a year, but yeah.
Well, Dion, Nick, and I will be grips on the movie.
That seals it right there. All you just need is a woman, and you're good to go.
That might be a problem. There are no women in that book, or the second one, or the third one.
I mean, well, Frankenfisher's a woman, right?
Yeah, I'm writing that right now. She's in the story. I keep forgetting there are, but I was like, wait, should I write a story with more women in it? And then I go, women buy my books. I've never received an email where a woman says your books would be better if you had more women in it. My website numbers are like 40% women, which is cool. And so I guess I'm doing something right. So I'm not going to change up the formula. You know, Peter Jackson's first movie has no women in it. I guess it's a budget thing, but go watch Bad Taste. Not a single lady is in that film. All aliens, all dudes. And it's actually pretty awesome. As an Ohioan, being from Ohio is actually a disability. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
There are times. So, Georgian, thank you very much. Let's give you that button. Thank you for your messages tonight. Folks, if you like Family Guy, this is the button for you.
Peter. The horse is here.
Hello, Dion.
That was amazing.
I was glad you guys like it so much. The problem with making this stuff, I should film myself making it, because you might think I'm like on something, because I cackle the entire time. Like I get a new idea, it's like, oh wait, and I start laughing because I can see it in my head, and I'm like making the plates and all these other like background parts, and I'm just like cackling away, like, haha, Dion's gonna hate this. I have way too much fun with this, folks. I'm sorry it scared you, Elizabeth, but it's only triggered by certain super chats, so don't worry, we won't have to scare you. But you know what? Let's lighten the mood with my favorite button.
It's Bob Weaver's house!
It's John's house!
It's Loretta's house! Let the cat I tell you! It's
Me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch!
There we go. Now the mood is lightened. We can be nice and loose and talk about some more stuff. So, guys, we have spent an hour on the Avengers. If there's more that the audience would like to hear, folks, send in your messages right now. Andrew, script, have we left a stone unturned at this early juncture in the film's promotional cycle?
I think we'd mostly covered it. I will say this: me and my buddy Spencer from our comic book podcast that we do on Thursday nights, we were chatting.
Name of the podcast so people can hear it.
Foil variant.
There you go, man.
Because
you
we like shiny covers. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. We were talking, and you know, it is entirely possible that the Cap that we saw in this trailer is not, in fact, our Cap. Those of you who remember Nick Spencer's run, where we had Hydra Cap, I'm wondering if this is actually a fake, and actually we're going to get evil Steve Rogers here. And
how though? He's worthy.
The pivot. The what?
But how could that be? Because he's worthy enough to hold Mjolnir. Wouldn't that
he
suss
was in the
out
comic.
any of that evil?
He was.
I don't read Nick's, what's his name? Nick Spencer. I don't read that guy's work.
Yeah, Hydra Cap lifted it in the comics too.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be interesting. I'm not necessarily a fan of the entire idea of Hydra Cap, but it'd be ballsy for Disney to actually take a swing at that.
I think it'd piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. And confuse them too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. They're
Now
already
I
getting
kind of
that,
want them
though.
to do it so they can confuse everybody and less people watch this movie. Like, I wish there was a summit at Marvel where they're just like, look, we're not going to adapt anything past 2015.
Mm.
And then they just stop. Because I don't care that these people get royalty checks. I don't care about Miss Marvel and all these other creators. Like, you guys suck. If your movies and your shows were in such high demand, the audience would love it. Because we're not a bunch of racist idiots out here mouth breathing, oh my God, I hate this and that. No, we're people with opinions. And I'm sorry that you don't like that people share different opinions. But like I always say, very ironically, my wallet, my choice, their wallet, their choice. If they don't want to support you, it's because you failed to entertain them, not because you're a woman or you're brown or you're purple or you're blue or you come from planet Xenu or whatever. Like nobody.
Or you're from the California. Doesn't matter.
That you crossed the line.
Everybody's got a limit. Everybody's got a limit. Some things are beyond the pale.
We left for a reason, Andrew.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
I'll never go back, even to Star Wars Celebration. I actually was not going to go to Star Wars Celebration. Who does anybody care anymore? Like about any part of that
a few
franchise?
100,000 out there that still care. Yeah, there's some.
No, I
Well,
don't care about Star Wars Celebration really.
See,
I would go to
wonder,
SDCC though if I got to go for work.
I will go in the future to stuff like that. I think I'm just disillusioned with comic books, like the mainstream stuff.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't want to go to even be near any of those people that are promoting the Marvel stuff. And I don't alter or worship at the altar of celebrity. So like, oh man, to see Shane from The Walking Dead and like, I don't know, Deborah Ann Wool. All right, cool. I like both actors, but I'm not going to like wait 12 hours to meet them. I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, nobody's that important.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Look,
that important to me.
Dude, I wouldn't even wait 12 hours to meet The Rock. I'd be like, you know what? It's just not meant to be. I'm going to go home. Like
12 hours is a long time.
I waited 13 for Nintendo Wii, which I guess it was worth it for Twilight Princess.
Oh,
yeah, it was
God, I did do that, didn't I? Yeah, I got a Wii at midnight and got
It's
Twilight Princess.
So for a physical product, I think it's a little different because it's something that you have forever. I know nowadays everybody wants to, I got to spend money on the experience.
I got a lot more than 13 hours out of the Wii and Twilight Princess.
Dude,
That's
when
for sure.
I got tired of the Wii games, I used it as a backup GameCube. And so I replayed Smash Brothers Melee or Star Wars or all these great GameCube games. Shit, my Wii is actually hooked up in the living room. I just use it as a GameCube because what Wii games were actually that great? That were
Not very
only on
many.
that system. Like Twilight Princess, you can get that on GameCube.
Mhm.
See?
And the version's better.
That one's version. You said that one's better?
I like the GameCube version better, yeah.
So I have an emulated version I'm playing, but it has a 4K texture remapping on it. So
you have the exact thing that I have. It looks amazing.
Why would I ever upgrade and get a new version when I can just play this
No reason
version?
to.
Yeah, that's what Nintendo hates. But if they're smart, they'll just do this stuff themselves. Because
and then people will pay them for it.
I'll be completely honest, dude. If they were to put that out on the Switch or maybe Switch 2, I don't know if I'll ever get one. Like if it was like a $20 thing, I would buy that again. I'd be like, you know what? I don't care that I got the free version. I want to play the real version on my TV because I know it's going to work 100% and I don't have to deal with anything else. But
yeah,
man, gaming is. Have you been watching all the physical media stuff? Because this stuff is getting better and better. Like now people assume that Sony is using bots and AI posts to like sow dissent among the people who want physical media.
I have been following it. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, the state of the gaming industry right now. But then GTA is going to come out towards the end of the year, and a bunch of people are going to buy that anyway. And when it comes time to putting their money where their mouths are, they're gonna put their money where GTA is. It's just gonna happen.
I've said it before, man. I am a huge GTA fan. I'm gonna sit this one out for the first, like the launch window, because I don't care about the characters, and I gotta hear what people are saying about it, because I got burnt out on GTA 5. I don't think it's the be all end all of video games, and I don't want more of that.
You should stream the original GTA 1 for PC.
The top-down game?
Yeah, it's great. You get a tank, you can shoot people. Yeah.
I only go back as far as GTA 3 because I still have those cheat codes memorized.
See, me skipping GTA 6 just means I continue my streak of never having played a GTA.
You've never played one?
No. I've watched friends play them. I just aren't interested.
So it's fun because it's like balls to the wall insanity, and there's really no rules. But as they make them more realistic, they take away what made them really fun. So, like, for example, you could blow people up or light them on fire, stick grenades on them, randomly attack people with baseball bats or dildos, like crazy shit. That's funny. Nowadays, you couldn't do the purple dildo in the police station because you'd either piss off the people that says, oh, it's offensive to have a sex toy in a video game, or you'd have be offended. The people would be offended that you attacked the cop or something like that. Like, Grand Theft Auto was supposed to be a place where you leave your morals at the door and you laugh at the absurdity that is our world. But I don't think we're getting that anymore. I think we're going to get a very safe, watered down, Bonnie and Clyde, hoping to sell to the Roblox crowd safe video game. And I don't want that. I want edgy. I want violent. I don't want Manhunt levels of gore, but I want like that scene in GTA 5 with the battery and the torture. Like, Grand Theft Auto's got to go make you uncomfortable. It used to be that kind of game. Oh, that's why you got Saints Row, says Jamie Jackson. Saints Row 1 and 2 and 3 were awesome. 4 is where I stopped.
It was either Saints Row 1 or Saints Row 2, or maybe it even was Saints Row the 3rd. I know one of them like actually poked fun at the purple dildo thing by actively having that as a weapon in the game.
I think the first two have them.
Okay, so then maybe it's multiple ones of them.
Yeah, because I thought GTA 4 blew then, and I think it sucks now. If you were ever say, Jeff, what are the most overrated video games you've ever played? GTA 4 tops that list. Bought it on launch day. It was the most difficult game to get through because the controls sucked. I wasn't enamored with the world, and I don't care about Nico Bellic. People think, oh, his story's so complex and dark and emotional. It's Grand Theft Auto. Like, I literally said about how I like running around, lighting people on fire, and beating them with dildos. I'm not looking for a game about the evils of war or to have a serious, in-depth discussion about what it means to be an American. Like, I don't care. And I don't want more of that. So I hope GTA 6 pleases everybody, but I don't think it'll please me. Sorry about that long rant. Our friend
all good.
Darian217, thank you very much. He says, I saw the Avengers trailer. I left bewildered, wondering if the movie was going to be a 4-hour-long semi to introduce the X-Men, the characters that failed in their own films, and make a logical connection to the previous films post-Endgame. And I think there's a second part coming. We'll read that as soon as I see that. But let's address the first part first. If it's 4 hours long...
I have no interest in a 4-hour-long Avengers movie.
I have no interest in a 4-hour-long film.
I want to see this movie before that 4 hours. The last time, there's only one series of exceptions at this point in my life where I will spend that long watching a single film. And it's the extended editions, The Lord of the Rings. That's it. I'm not doing that for anything else. I don't care what cape shit characters you've got in your film. I'm not sitting there for 4 hours in a theater for it. I'm sorry. That's too much for me at this point. I'm too old for that.
I just don't think there's a narrative reason why it would be like why they could making a movie that long.
Because script, you'll probably agree with this. That means you have one of two problems. Either you have bloat in terms of the number of characters in your story and you're trying to pad things out, or your writers lack a serious sense of compression and telling tight stories.
The other aspect is that it might be a strategic way to efficiently write a script while you're shooting it, because every character will get 90 seconds of screen time, and that will eventually lead to a 2-hour movie. So you only have to really work on making every 90-second bit the best it could possibly be, and tether it together to whatever you're shooting as you're shooting, which again, that's the Disney way. They start production with a concept and an incomplete script, and then they make it up as they go along. They test it with audiences. They make the adjustments. They do the reshoots. They test it again. Once it crosses, I think 70 out of 100, for a rating, it's good to start marketing. And then they tweak and tweak and tweak until they get to the right window and a release window. And then there it is. It's out for the public.
Oh, yippee. I love how much passion goes into their scientific research.
Yeah, it's so corporate. It's not even art.
That's
it hasn't been art from Disney in a long time. Like,
correct.
I'd say since I've been a voting age, I don't think Disney's put out a piece of art. Pixar's a little different, but
Pixar certainly had some gems. Yeah. 4 hours too much.
Darian also says all the previous Avengers movies had a buildup. Loki in 1, Ultron in 2, and of course Thanos in 3. Where's the buildup and world building connectivity that makes this Avengers episode worth it? Excellent question.
I mean, I'd argue against Ultron. He wasn't really built up. He just kind of came and went. But I understand the pattern that they're trying to do here. But yeah, seems like Avengers Doomsday might be an Avengers Ultron situation.
But at least, look, I don't think Age of Ultron's that great. I would rank it as the third of 4 Avengers movies. I think what that movie, or how that movie works, is you get to see the team together, like in their prime. It's the natural evolution. I love that movie. I think we needed. Because it's 3 of 4, it just means I love the first Avengers for many reasons, and I like Infinity War because I do think it's epic.
Infinity War is one of the best cliffhangers ever in cinema history.
Yeah, and I like. It's rare when I watch a film with that many characters that I care about everyone's journey. Like, I like Thor meeting the Guardians on the way to nowhere. I like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and Iron Man on the ship to Titan. I like when they all intersect. Like, there isn't a moment of downtime in that movie that I find boring. I think it has the best opening of any Marvel movie. Once the ship explodes and Loki gets killed, it's on to New York, and it's on to Titan, and it's on to this, and it's on to that. And
the pacing for Infinity War is like really good.
Yeah, I want more of that. The more I watch Endgame, the reason I'm mad isn't because it doesn't satisfy like what I personally wanted. I feel like we jumped ahead to a point where we never really got to see the ramifications of the snap on the world. It's like we're watching Hulky tacos and all this dumb crap. And oh yeah, parts of San Francisco are overgrown. Whoop-de-doo. Like, why couldn't we have watched like the economic downfall of America, or watch countries try to exploit, half the population being gone, instead of an allegory, not even allegory, literal squatters' rights in the Captain America TV show. Like,
yeah, I was going to say they tried like half-ass in retrospect discussing those ideas in the Captain America and the Winter Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like they tried, and it was like, this would have been better served like introducing these ideas before Endgame. That way you can now follow up on the aftermath, right? So deal with the present of like, this is happening, this is now. There are all these economic problems being introduced because of this, and that's going to have ramifications down the road. And then you show those ramifications after Endgame, in the wrap up, once everybody's brought back, everybody that was dusted, right? Then now you actually have a follow through on that idea, instead of now you're only just now interested, like introducing this idea after the fact. Well, it's like, but we didn't actually get to see what that looked like while it was happening.
No, and the fact that they did the 5-year time jump and then reset it back to what it was kind of makes it all for naught. I mean, if they just decided not to do the 5-year time jump, and you're dealing with the weeks and months after half of the universe has vanished, there's a little bit more chaos, there's a little bit more urgency, and then you get to that tipping point where you're wondering, like, well, even though Thanos did this to try and save the universe, it's actually having this detrimental collapse everywhere. And now it's up to the Avengers to try and fix everything before it crosses that threshold, and it crosses that point of no return. We didn't get that at all.
Yeah, you're creating, when you do things like that, when you introduce those kind of ideas, you're creating a continuity burden. That's something you need to address at some point. Otherwise, you are weakening the world building of your shared universe.
And then I just disliked that too, because you have this epic Thanos journey and he completes it and then he wins. And then they kill him in the first 5 minutes of the next one. And then I'm supposed to be emotionally invested in an alternate version. He didn't do any of that stuff. He's not the one that killed so-and-so or got the stones or went on the journey. Like, he died. The Avengers are just fighting his clone. I know it's not his clone. It's his 2014 version. Believe me, they took every step to shit on Back to the Future's simplistic version of time travel, but they developed a garbage, convoluted version on their own.
Yep.
Because I get it. We understand that time isn't linear, but time travel is really not possible. So why try to make it hyper realistic and boring? It's so much. Back to the Future works because it's a great movie and people love the cast, but it's so simple to go back, forward, change something. It's the thing we all wish we could do with time. Instead of trying to think of it fourth dimensionally, like Doc would say, it makes it too much. And I don't know, man. I think we've over-engineered superhero movies. They're supposed to be good versus evil, not good versus evil versus alternate version that could have nefarious implications moving forward. Our friend Darian, I think you make a great point about Loki too. Like, Loki had a great introduction in Thor, and then, got a little taste of power, went too far, kept pushing for that power in the Avengers, and then they would go back to him over and over. I liked that. I'm not saying you got to keep all your villains alive or map or stretch it out like that, but at least give us a little more, because this is supposed to be Doctor Doom. Ultron was just a gap character. Like, we know Thanos is coming. We need somebody. And I just don't think we have that this time. I think it relies too much on knowledge of the character of Doctor Doom outside of the film to fully understand it. Darian also says, Infinity War can't stand on its own and be a tragic tale. It ends in a manner that reminds you that not all stories end with happy endings. I think there's a term for that in Eastern literature. Script, you are the writer extraordinaire here, man. Do you know that term that Darian is discussing?
I mean, technically from the Shakespearean side of things, it's called a tragedy. It ends in a tragedy. Nobody gets what they want at the end. Eastern side of things, that's a little bit out of my forte. I mean, I dabble in it, but I think Literature Devil would probably be better suited to answer that question of what the term is in the Eastern literature.
I'll have to hit him up with a message. We haven't streamed in a minute. I'll see if he's available in the coming weeks.
Oh, yeah. He's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, I'm a fan. I always want his books to do well, too. But so, Darian, you meant to say it can stand on its own. I like it on its own, to be perfectly honest. I kind of like to watch it as like, well, the Avengers lost, and that's it. That's it. That's the end of the story. Like, oh, well, the world's over. We lost. Bye. I do wish, like, here, let me just fan book this for a second. I wish Endgame would have been, instead of like this stupid battle up in upstate New York, I wish it would have taken us back to Thor, where he actually did aim for the head and did finish Thanos on the battlefield, and they just kind of brought everything back to whatever. As I'm not a fan of the whole, we got to sacrifice the Soul Stone so Scarlett Johansson dies and all this other crap. Like, I want all the characters to just come back, but even Hawkeye, all of them. Just bring the 6 ones from the first movie back and pay them their money, and the audience will care again.
I mean, I'm still confused on how you return the Soul Stone. Like how does that work? Cap had the stones. He has to go return them. How do you return the Soul Stone? The body's already been sacrificed. The stone is there.
Don't ask questions about their convoluted internal logic. You'll make them think. You could hurt their brains.
Yeah. That was a Russo idea, though. That was it.
Yeah, they can go back to Community for all I care. Yeah, it was really fun to talk about this because, like, 9-10 years ago on the show, this Marvel stuff was so pumped. Like, we were so pumped. Like, I remember getting out of Civil War. Oh my God, did you see that part where Captain America where the Falcon and Bucky teamed up against Spider-Man? Like, we were all on board with all of this stuff. And it was really cool to see Black Panther chasing down a car and that scene in the bridge or on the tunnel with the motorcycle. Like, all of that stuff was cool, man. And it was really small scale, comparatively speaking. Like, people go on about Winter Soldier being great, and it is. But the fights are just on a highway, on a crashing ship, essentially, on the street. It's not interdimensional portals, time travel, planets. Like, there's nothing else to see in Marvel. So we're back to gray battlefields. And I hope that's enough for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do you want me to tell you guys my pitch or how I would have done Endgame? Clone Geek, I'm always interested since you're a writer and you have a great knowledge of Spider-Man comics. So, folks, if you want a shortcut to get my attention, if you show that you know Spider-Man stuff, I'll definitely read it because I'm always into Spidey myself. Let's transition into that guy since we're caught up on our messages. Did the Spider-Man trailer hook you? No, not for me.
No, because I saw the one that kind of recapped the first 3 movies and then went into
That's the one they put out today, right?
Teasers.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels like I've seen all this all before. I don't care.
Well, it's because we only adapt a small window of Spider-Man, and then we just now jump to the new stuff that's newer in the books. Like, I get it. Like, it's cool to see Spider-Man fight the Hand. All right, that's not a problem. But what's not cool for me is Spider-Man with the glowing energy powers in dodging or in using whatever magic or tech he's using to fight like, he's supposed to be low tech outside of the web shooters and a flashlight. Maybe the spider tracer. That's about it. It's too big of a scale for me. Like, I'm not excited to watch him fight the Hulk.
Yeah, I see. That goes against the thing that I was hoping for the most with this movie. After the ending of No Way Home, I was like, oh, is Peter Parker going to finally be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Is he going to actually fight some of his more street level villains? Like, are we going to not have to worry about jumping, across the cosmos or, facing down world-ending threats right off rip? Amazing. Spectacular, even. And now he's fighting the Hulk. I don't need the Hulk in this movie. I don't want him in this movie. I don't even, I get it. There's some fun stuff you can do with him and Punisher. That's fine. And Spidey is one of those characters that he's the most fun character to have team up with and cameo with other Marvel heroes. I understand that. And that is fun. I agree with that. But this is supposed to be his first solo movie since his reset, right? At the end of No Way Home, where now nobody knows who he is. He's back to more or less square one. And so we're just right away going to throw him in with other big characters. Why? Why are the writers for the Holland films so desperate to prove that this Peter Parker can't hold up a movie on his own?
I've wondered that too, because we as the audience support the character of Spider-Man. That's why it's always the games sell. The shirts, like, kids dress up as Spider-Man. You see it everywhere. It's an all ages character and it works. But for some reason, you're right, man. They just keep giving us these movies. I think it's a contract thing, and it's probably just to get more characters out there. They look at it like Spider-Man's going to bring in anybody no matter what. We want to get more eyes on these characters, so they just throw crap in there. That's what I'm guessing.
It's not a good enough reason. I just want Spider-Man. I don't care about the other jabronis. At least give him one freaking movie on his own. Give me the opportunity to either genuinely like or dislike Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man outside of any other schmuck in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But
you've yet
the
to
old
do
ones
that.
will always be better. Look, could be Andrew Garfield, could be my preferred Tobey Maguire. Those are the only times where we got to see Spider-Man be his lonesome superhero self. Because it changes the dynamic. People can relate to the outsider, the other, the loneliness, this, that, and the other thing. If you want to relate to the character, it's also more interesting because you have time to build up his world. Now we have to split it among 5 different heroes.
It just dilutes the character.
Oh, absolutely does. In terms of, let's see what people are feeling about. Can we also get the real MJ? I'm tired of Zendaya. Dude, I have good news for you, Kaiju expert Al. Zendaya is going to be in the new Bourne Identity movie.
I saw something about that earlier, and I could feel my eyes roll into the back of my skull.
I can't support movies with her in them unless I have a channel connection to it. It's just that she's in everything. I don't even hate her. She's just everywhere. Overexposed is the right word.
Yeah, they're just pushing her and everything right now. It's kind of strange.
If she was like really talented and blew me away, then I'd shut up. But
If she was like a showstopper, right? It'd be like, wow, like just completely steals the scene anytime she's there. Sure. But she's not. She's serviceable.
I think you're being kind. Look, I don't think she fits in these Spider-Man movies. I get that they're trying to get that like TikTok audience, but you know, at some point the TikTok audience is gonna stop coming to your movies. I don't even think they show up that much. I think they just get a lot of praise on social media, and she's tied in with big brand names. Dune is a brand name. Christopher Nolan is a brand name. Spider-Man is a brand name. The Bourne Identity is a brand name. Like on TV, maybe she's like in her own shit. Or didn't she make some independent movie that people gushed over because she gave money to the crew? Like, that's cool. But that's, I don't know, man. Does our audience like Zendaya?
Not likely. Doesn't seem that way.
We got a Zendaya sucks ass right away. I should put that on a t-shirt and see if people buy it. Zendaya sucks ass. Or my new shirt would just read, stop putting Zendaya in everything. I think that would be a lot more accurate. If we get 20, if we get 51s in the chat from unique accounts, I'll have that on the channel or the website for Thursday night. Stop putting Zendaya in everything. And it'll be world class because it always is. Now, Andrew, I have tickets for the super advanced screening of Spider-Man, so I will be seeing it a week from tomorrow.
I wasn't able to get tickets even for the Thursday showing because my theater was entirely sold out for all 3 showings, I think. So I had to get like one of the last available seats for the 11 p.m. showing on that Friday.
I gotta say though, for as critical as I always am on the channel, because I'm just trying to be objective and not gush, because we're not sponsored by these people, at least. Other things are in the works, but we're not sponsored by Marvel, and I'm not going to just give stuff a blind pass because I liked it as a kid. But this is my character, so I'll be there on opening night and probably getting like, oh man, we're gonna see some Spidey action. But no, folks, that next Wednesday you'll get a very fair review of the new Spider-Man film, which, hey, we gave you a fair review of Supergirl. Didn't like it, but it was a fair review. Is that movie... Oh, by the way, I have video footage now of all those toys at Ross. Originally, I just had some pictures. Now I have video footage of Supergirl at Ross. 3 weeks into its theatrical run, bro. It's at Ross.
That's really bad. That's really bad.
Like I said, folks, the merchandise is an indicator. Of course, you can take into account factors like overproduction, but retailers order logically. They don't have the same goals and ambitions that the studios do, and they don't have other ways to cover their asses. Oh, they might shit the bed with Warner Brothers and Supergirl, and it might lose $200 million, but HBO Max is going to bring in money and this and that. Like, Walmart does have other things, but they're just going to put things that make them money on the shelf. They're going to say Star Wars stuff doesn't sell, so we're going to shrink that section and we're going to increase Skibbity Toilet, which is what happened. That's exactly what's in your stores right now. Because
I don't even know what that is, and I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Well, I have good news for you guys. I have your Christmas presents already purchased. They are
oh God,
Skibbity Toilet RC cars. But by car, I mean it's a toilet with wheels and the head pops up and down when you drive it. Like, that's literally the toy. That's not a joke.
That's weird.
It's 2026, dude. What do you expect?
I hate this timeline.
Kids like it. Yeah, I hate the timeline. I just hate the people that make all this entertainment because they're just dumb. It's like, look, I would be the best and worst person to run shit because I would make stuff that appeals to everybody, but it would be like that low-key 90s shit where you like learn something at the end of it, kind of like the Magic School Bus or Wishbone or like any of those shows that weren't like, they weren't boring. You just watched them because they were entertaining.
I'll take a Sonic Says.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers that.
Who doesn't remember Sonic Says? Dude, I know I've joked about Sonic the Hedgehog and Chris Chan and all that crap, but I watched that cartoon every morning before school. Every morning.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great show.
Absolutely. Jaleel White was a fantastic voice of Sonic in my childhood.
That's what Sonic sounds like to me. Like in my head, I just hear that voice.
He's top 3 Sonic voices for me, for sure.
I don't like the Sonic Adventure anime reinvention that came out in 1999. I've always just liked the classic Sonic, so I even picked up I don't have my camera on, it doesn't matter. I was at Ollie's the other week and I picked up a classic Sonic figure. I was like, yeah, $7 for Sonic is a good deal. So he's going on the pop culture shelf.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think he's worth it. Let's see. Crouching Taylor, Hidden Swift, thank you for a great question. Is the Odyssey the first woke film to be a hit? Well, let's discuss the Odyssey, its wokeness, its success, because WCBS is not other channels that have been reporting on the Odyssey. I've seen a lot of people that I like, some people that I even have a professional respect for, have been jumping through hoops to try to classify this movie as a failure. And I don't see that. Do you guys?
I mean, the movie's by all measures doing well so far. I mean, I know plenty of people personally who did not like the film. I also know a handful who loved the film. I personally had no interest in it, so I haven't gone to see it.
Same.
And I won't change that. I'm just like I'm not a Christopher Nolan fanboy. I'm not a Christopher Nolan hater. If I'm going to go spend $25 on a movie ticket, it's going to be because I'm explicitly interested in the movie. I'm not interested in this movie, and so I'm not going to see it. So I don't care.
Yeah, and Clone Geek asks, but what makes a film woke? So I think the phrase gets overused and overblown by so many people because it's an easy buzzword for clicks. But I always would classify it as when the politics are the main focal point, not the story. The agenda is the point of the movie. Like Ghostbusters 2016. The point of that movie isn't to be like, the marketing is what makes that movie fall into that category because it was all about the women. I don't think the film itself, I don't remember. It sucked. I watched it twice. I can't remember it. Can you guys give me a better example of like a quote unquote woke movie? Because I want to discuss it. I can't remember one. That's not a good example. Like, I guess the new Star Wars movies fall into that category because they have a shit story, but they got a pass because Rey is a woman and Disney wanted to have the right character in the forefront of the franchise. That's what I call it. So I don't know if Nolan shit fits. Like, is Ellen Page actually the main character?
No.
Is Matt Damon?
No.
Yeah. Well, no, Matt Damon is
Matt Damon
supposed
is
to be the main
yes.
character.
Matt Damon is the main character.
So yeah, just Ellen Page being in the film doesn't make the film woke. It makes it a bad casting choice. That's for sure. The movie can just, I don't know. I can't have an opinion on the movie really, and I have no interest in having an opinion on the movie because I haven't seen it and don't plan to. But the movie could just be good, or it could be bad. And even if there are people who are part of the film whom we would categorize as people who typically tend to espouse and promote and promulgate what we would say woke ideology, does it therefore make the product itself that? Sometimes the product just sucks.
Oh, agreed.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be more complicated than that.
I think it's a great question to ask, and it's kind of important because if everything's woke, then nothing is. And after a certain point, I just go, okay, like if you were to call the new Avengers trailer woke, I'd be like, no, it's not. It's got shit characters, but like Shang-Chi's always been Asian.
Yeah.
The Black Panther characters have always been black.
Sue Storm's always been a woman.
Yeah. And Ben Grimm's always been Jewish, so it's not like they're, putting all the diversity shit in there to appeal. Like Marvel's universe is like that. And John Byrne, who's now the target persona non grata to all these weirdos, invented a lot of these characters, like, North Star being gay, putting the focus on She-Hulk, the meta nature, the commentary that the character has. Like, he created that stuff. And the comic books have a lot of this stuff in them. But I look at it where art always has some kind of social commentary to some degree. I'm not saying it has to be like one-to-one to our world, but there's always some kind of thing you can say.
Sure. Does the social commentary supersede the actual story and the entertainment itself? That's when you cross into that threshold, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And also too, like reading old comic books, they comment on old social events. But I think it blends in with today's world where we don't really have big historical social events that create positive change.
Well, there are also old Captain America and Superman comics for those people out there that don't actually read comic books that were straight up propaganda.
Yeah, since the 1940s.
By the way, the restart point, I agree with the Doctor Who stuff, and that killed the show.
I'm so glad I was never a Doctor Who fan. That seems like the most depressing fandom to be a part of at this point.
Star Trek's up there too. Like I'm a tourist. Well, not a tourist. When it was David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, I know he came first, and Matt Smith, I was a diehard Doctor Who fan. Like I would quote shit. Like
I like two of those actors.
Yeah. David Tennant's eyebrows is a great gag in the new King of the Hill. Andrew.
Nailed David Tennant's eyebrows.
Yeah, just watch the new King of the Hill. It's worth it. Even if you've only seen a couple episodes of the old, it's good.
Okay.
No, but all I was getting is like Doctor Who, 100%, man. See, I don't want people to think that I'm giving this kind of stuff a pass. I'm just really strict on what I'm going to classify, because when it hits that threshold, then it's all bets are off the table. That Star Trek show, Starfleet Academy, where the Klingons are wearing dresses and it's about the sexual mating rituals of a gay Klingon, like that falls into the category instantly. That is trash entertainment.
Holy God.
Yeah. Then you can get riled up and worked up and fucking pissed, because Star Trek used to be, as it was cool in the 60s. I wasn't around in the 60s. It was really embarrassing in the 90s because people would always call you shit, even though I wasn't watching it. There was a pejorative to be associated with Star Trek. But that old stuff hits. Like Captain Kirk,
growing up, us did, not script, because he's from the golden age. Pejoratives were common when it came to being a geek, being a nerd when we were growing up, right?
I think it made you love it more, because people would make like people would try to say shit about you liking it, but you're like, nope, I like it, and it would just make you defend it more. But it was like worth defending,
Yeah. Well, the X-Men were created by Stan Lee. Shocker to some people, not as a civil rights analogy. It was just meant to be an analogy for those who are the other. And what's great about that is that that's universal. You could apply that. Sure, why not apply that to, I don't know, women's suffrage or something? Apply that to the civil rights movement. You can apply that to almost literally anything, and it works because it's something that is, by way of how it was designed, meant to be universal. And as geeks, growing up when we were, that was a perfect analogy. I think this is one of the reasons why I loved the X-Men so much. I was like, yeah, I am getting picked on quite a bit on my street and at school for being a bit of a geek and liking this stuff, liking Sonic, liking Power Rangers, liking Spider-Man and all this stuff, right? And the X-Men were the other. The X-Men were something that were easily connectable to me. I think anybody that was a geek growing up in a time where geek culture was not pop culture, it wasn't popular to be a geek, can agree with that and understand that.
Yeah. And I came from the angle of, is this stuff cool? Like, I don't really identify with the X-Men. I just watched it because Wolverine and Cyclops and that theme song. Oh man, that music gets you
that theme song
anything.
Pretty freaking rad.
And the thing I liked about Spider-Man as a kid is I was a smart kid. I also liked the Blue Power Ranger. Like, my mom pushed for education all the time. So those characters were cool to me, and they were smart. Like, it was part of their character trait. So Spider-Man studied, I studied. Like that was about as close as I identified with it. I mean, the orphan things, maybe I don't really, I don't think of it like that. But you talk about these things that are worth defending. Doctor Who has fallen off. Star Trek has fallen off. I think Star Wars, you can call like the Acolyte the woke word. You can call it woke. I wouldn't call Skeleton Crew that, but I would call all of this just garbage.
I forgot that show got made.
Yeah, I was reading an article.
Did anybody watch it here? And that's not like, that's a legitimate
I watched
question.
it all for the channel. And here's the thing, dude. I forgot to make a
do
video
anything
about
cool?
it. No.
Oh, okay. Surprise.
Here's the thing. It was a show engineered to protect itself from criticism because, it's a bunch of kids. You can't critique kids. Yeah, no one's actually critiquing the kids. Nobody's going and bothering these kids on social media and saying anything about them. But if the show is not good, if the stories are stupid, why are we supposed to give it a pass because kids are in it? Because kids didn't write it or make it or market it or produce it or edit it. Those kids just acted in it. And
it's not the fault of the kids.
No, those kids are just trying to act. They're doing the best they can, and they did a fine job. However, they did such a great job, I forgot anything they said. It wasn't a good show. And they also try to tell you, it's supposed to harken back to E.T. and Spielberg nostalgia. All right, well, the kids live in a E.T. neighborhood in space, and that's about as E.T. as it gets. Plus, can we just leave the 80s alone? I get it that older Star Wars fans grew up in the 80s. I was born in the 80s. But Star Wars is its own beast. It's a product of the 70s as much as it's a product of any decade. And to try to make it this like nostalgic trip, like Disney just wants to milk your emotions. They figured out how to milk your emotions at Disney World, and they're trying to get you to do it on Disney Plus, and it just comes off as hollow and bullshit.
Yeah. But that's Disney in general.
That's fair.
Sad.
But we're all roughly the same age, Eternal, but we also grew up in an era during the Disney Renaissance where it wasn't like that all the time. Like The Lion King is a legit movie. Aladdin is a legit movie.
Aladdin was the first film I saw in theaters.
And I saw it in theaters for sure as a kid because talk about early memories in life. I can remember seeing Aladdin in theaters, and I remember seeing Beauty and the Beast in theaters. I just have like flashes. Like I remember. Here's the memory I have as a kid. I can still see it to this day. I'm in the theater seeing Aladdin, and it's the scene where Jafar becomes the whatever you call it, the
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Was he even alive back then?
No. But I mean, that'd be a pretty.
How was that movie? Has anyone
Michael
seen
Jackson or Michael? I enjoyed it.
Look, when it hits streaming, I'll watch it. I already know the story, Like we kind of lived through Michael Jackson's most of the stuff. Like we're all born in the Bad era, right after Bad the album comes out. So like we know. And then also too, he was so popular, his life was always played out on TV. You heard all about the Jacksons, all about this, all about MTV. You just couldn't get away from it. So I always felt like that was kind of a redundant movie. Well, it made $1 billion, so it's the highest biopic. So I guess I can't talk about the redundancy or pointlessness. Let's see. Star Trek can only be good if the writing and the plot is good. That's the issue with the plots outside of the shows. After I say the third movie, they have not been good. What do you guys say about that?
Star Trek can only be good if the writing and the plot is good. The issue is the plot outside this.
The plots outside the shows after I say the third movie have not been good. Are you referring to like the third movie from the 2009 series? Because,
I'm trying to figure that out myself.
Because Star Trek itself followed the old model where the plot is subservient to the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, the plot is heavily driving the momentum, but the characters are the ones that are steering the direction and basically are the reason the story is anything there. When you're dealing with a plot-driven story, which it's really hard to find plot-driven stories that are good because the characters are typically not memorable in that because they're being dragged through the story by way of the plot. Television often gets conflated for being plot-driven because you're there for the conflict, or at least the conflict is the hook to bring you in, but really, at the end of the day, you realize, oh, no, you're there for the characters. You're inviting them into your living room or wherever you situate your television because it's them that's making you watch the story. And it's how they deal with the conflicts by way of the plot that keeps you entertained. Not the plot itself is irrelevant. It's the characters that we all fall in love with.
Yeah.
That's why I like
You only
Captain
care
Kirk.
about a world if you like and care about the people in it.
Excuse me. Let's see what else is coming in. Let's see. We hit Doomsday, we've talked Spider-Man, and we've talked Odyssey. So, folks, if you got anything else you want us to address or bring up, let us know. We're 2 days away from Comic-Con, so I'm sure pointless trailers are going to come out. I'll tell you one thing I'm excited for, though. Hasbro got the license for The Legend of Zelda, like you told us.
Yeah.
And I don't need to take a hardline stance on any of this bullshit. If it's Ocarina of Time, my ass is pre-ordering that shit instantly. Like, I don't care.
I have a feeling that they're gonna so Ocarina of Time, I think the two things that we'll likely see is we'll see Ocarina of Time to tie in with the remake, and we'll see figures that are like more based on the movie that's coming out next year. I think it's next year, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So I think those are the two lines we're gonna get first. Now the Ocarina of Time remake comes out later this year, and so we're not likely to see any. We'll see the prototypes announced at SDCC. They've already said that, but they won't be available in stores until sometime next year. But I'm with you, man. If we get some good looking Ocarina of Time action figures, I'm going to pre-order those so fast because I still have my original 3-pack set from the late 90s, early 2000s from Ocarina that had Adult Link, the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield, had Princess Zelda and Ganondorf.
Was it the one that was offered in the back of Nintendo Power?
Yes, but they also had it available in certain stores because my local Walmart had them.
Because I had that link. I found that link at like a Target or something as a kid. And I was so happy. I played with that thing until I lost all the pieces. I took it everywhere. Because it was hard to get Nintendo toys back then. They weren't common.
Oh, I know. Today, most of mine I ordered from the back of Nintendo Power.
I see. That's the one.
Along with my official soundtracks, like I have the Ocarina of Time soundtrack CD that I ordered from the back of that magazine.
Oh, dude, I had that. I had Mario 64. I had the Majora's Mask soundtrack. I loved those.
You are world class.
I got those because I always would resubscribe to Nintendo Power. But as a kid, I would dream about getting these toys. And nowadays, when I walk into the store to film stuff for the channel, I go, man, I wish I could have got Mario and this and that and all these other figures. Because
dude, kids today are so spoiled. You had to go to Toys R Us pretty much in order to find any like real like Sonic or Nintendo property toys.
But the thing is, Andrew, they only made about 2 Link figures in that window of time. They made the one that we both had. And then they made another one. It was called a Nintendo Power Link. And it was like slightly articulated, but it was mostly like a statue. I take that back. There was a third one from Toy Biz. You had Link and Epona. But that was about it. Mario had like a pullback little character and other things like that. But I love him today. That's the only thing I care about from Comic-Con. Is there anything you guys are interested in?
Not really. Well, if a new trailer, a full trailer gets shown off for the Sonic 4 movie, I'll care about that. But that's because there's a fourth one coming out next year that's going to have Metal Sonic and Amy Rose while returning Shadow and the rest of the cast so far. So I'm excited for that, but I've yet to be let down by those movies. And so I have all the reason in the world to be excited for it so far.
I got to see the third one still.
It's fun. It's fun. I think overall the first one is still the best, but that tends to be the case in a lot of cases. But I had a really good time with the third one.
Sorry, I just keep thinking about this Zelda stuff. What if they make original Zelda figures too? Like,
dude,
take this. It's dangerous to go alone.
and this is what you'd have to do. So, original NES Legend of Zelda Link, his shield actually was more of a traditional knight's shield with like the cross, the crucifix on it, right? Mm-hmm. His sword was much shorter. You could add some of the accessories, like some of the other items, weapons you get in the game. Oh, man. I hope Hasbro like doesn't chintz on this opportunity to have the Legend of Zelda license for their toys, like go big. Do something really cool. Do something that I could be like, man, I kind of want to buy a second set of this to set aside for my kids in the future. Right.
It's gonna be. See, I know that I do, make videos about Hasbro and stuff, but some of the products are legit. Like, for as much as I hate modern Star Wars, their Black Series original trilogy figures are legit. If they can just bring
Mhm.
that level to a Zelda figure or Link
Yeah.
figures, excuse me, I'm set, because I think everybody's going to be complaining, I didn't get every accessory from the video game. Look, it's a video game. Link has this invisible wallet that he can just hide everything in. This isn't Breath of the Wild where he carries it all on his back.
He has a bag of holding, essentially, for
Yeah.
those of you who are D&D players.
Yeah, and so it's like you give him a sword and a shield, and that's all the accessories you really need. Maybe the bow and
Maybe a
arrow
bow.
if it can link.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it
Maybe a bow and arrow.
depends on the version of Link, because Ocarina of Time Link, his bow and arrow isn't visible when he stands there. You know what I'm saying? But
Correct. But if you do like Twilight Princess,
now that
then yes. I would kill for a legit Twilight Princess action figure. Was it
they made one though. The
I have-
Japanese import, the Figma's awesome.
well did they do a Twilight Princess? I know they did a Skyward
Yep.
Sword. I have the Skyward Sword one.
Oh yeah, I have the Twilight Princess one.
I didn't even know Figma did a Twilight Princess thing. Son of a Okay.
Holy shit, it's $400.
Oh my god. Well,
I gotta find where mine is. It's at my mom's house. I bought it and moved away. I never opened it. Beautiful figure though. Oh, Legend of
bet.
Zelda, folks, speaks to my heart. Sorry, You know we
same.
love it.
I've been recently replaying. Actually, I've been streaming Ocarina of Time, the old N64 one, on Twitch for the last couple of weeks.
How
A
far are
couple
you
of
into
times
it?
a night. I beat the Water Temple last night, so I'm not super far. But
You're
I've
not-
been trying to
You're
knock
in the
out.
midpoint.
I guess that's true. I've been trying to knock out a temple or a like pseudo dungeon and side stuff, like as I go through. Like I got Bigoron's sword before beating the fire temple and all that, because that makes speed running through the dungeons way quicker.
When I was miserable living in California, I replayed Ocarina of Time on the Switch, and it just took me back to the late 90s. And I gotta say though, I didn't forget how to play the game, and I beat it in record time. I'm not saying I beat it in like 4 hours or some crazy shit where I just sat there,
Sure.
but like I got through every temple in one try, and I don't think I died until the end. Like it's a game that I have burned into my memory. And as a kid, that was like a quest for me. It was like, I went on this great adventure. Do
Right.
people still like feel that way about games today? Or, maybe
I
the
still do
older
with certain
generation?
games. Like I'm feeling that way while replaying through Ocarina. And Mary's actually, because she was watching me play it, and she's like, "Damn it, Andrew! Now I want to replay it." And so now she's replaying through Ocarina and Twilight Princess. And it's just, I don't know. Zelda's one of those franchises where at least some of the entries, that magic is always there.
Oh yeah. The new one, I can't wait for the remake of Ocarina of Time. Have you guys ever heard of is it Woot is the name of the website? WOOT?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, either way, Woot has a sale right now. This isn't a plug, but you can get the Switch. It's on sale for $399, or Switch 2 is $399 before the big sale.
It's $150
prices.
off.
Yeah.
No, that's
so
$399. You said? Never mind. It's $50.
$399.
Still $50 off. It's $50 off.
I was just saying, if anybody's thinking about getting it, I'm strongly considering ordering one before the price goes up, because I gotta play Zelda.
It's going up by $50 next month, I think, or in September.
Yeah, because
One of the
everybody's
two.
all excited about GTA. I don't care, man. Ocarina of Time. That was an adventure to go on. And I hope Nintendo, honestly, if they just gave me the same game with modern graphics, I'd still play through it and be very happy. But I want a whole new experience. Oh, anything else from Comic-Con, man? We're getting ready to wind down, folks. It's been a long day, and I have to be back at it to make you this video tomorrow that'll shock you, surprise you, not disappoint you, though, because it comes from one of our favorite companies, and they always seem to shit the bed.
Nothing else from me.
Script had to step away, so
Yeah, he got a phone call from
Yeah.
he initially typed Simone from LA in the chat, and then he corrected himself that he meant to say someone. And I was like, who's Simone?
Oh, I'd like to know Simone. Is she cool? I always think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. What about your big butt? I'm still waiting on that to come. I ordered that on Prime Day, the Criterion version, and it's the only disc that I ordered that hasn't shown up.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It's on super back order. Look, folks, I'm working on something for you guys, and I'm working 3 months out. So when I debut it, I'm not going to make you wait. But the first part of that is a look back at some collectibles, and Pee Wee Herman's the first thing we're going to do, because I'm going to do it in sequential order of stuff that was important in my collecting life. And Pee Wee was the first toy. Like Pee Wee Herman / Thomas the Tank Engine are kind of 1 and 1A. So maybe we'll have a little fun with some Pee Wee Herman stuff in the future. I do have it in my office right now too. So
there you go.
But Andrew, I think it's time to go. I have reached my point where my voice just wants to stop. I did not get the Godzilla Criterion Collection yet because, well, I completely forgot to add that to the cart. I considered it, and then I was like, wait, here's the thing. I have to limit myself when it comes to these Criterion movies, because the Criterion Collection, well, they do a 50% off sale every year. That's why I bought what I bought. So $25, it's worth it. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, I don't want to get too pretentious. It's like, oh man, the Breakfast Club looks great. Videodrome looks great. Oh, what's next? And before I know it, I'm going to start buying movies on blind buys, and I'll have a whole wall of these things. And I can't right now.
It takes up a lot of space.
Yeah. By the way, for anyone out there that was dropping the Woke Busters link, I appreciate that. But folks, you can't follow any comic links to Kickstarters and stuff. Just go to stealingsolo.com. And if you go to the tab, it has the Stealing Solo books. It has the Woke Busters stuff. It has Tits and Art. And it'll soon have a tab for original art, because I get messages about sketches and stuff. So
there you go. Yeah, sell some of those original pages.
Oh, I don't have original pages for the book. They're all digital. But people request sketches. Oh, yeah, because like I get it, but look at it from my business standpoint. The books sell, but like people buy original art based on superheroes or things that they know. So if I worked on Spider-Man, or if I had a superhero character or a character that was like design-wise, which is what I'm going to do after this Frankenfisher book, then I will think about ways to do a hybrid art style. But for me to get a book done in a reasonable amount of time, it's all the iPad. Because
digital is incredibly efficient if you're adept with it.
Oh, it's funny how anybody's like, oh, it's not like a real comic. It's like, it's drawn by my hand. It's drawn, every comic book you're going to read today, folks, has a digital intermediary. There's no comic book printed anywhere that's going to be painted and photographed and then like what? All printers
at minimum, they are colored digitally.
Oh, and lettered.
And lettered like digitally,
You might get a couple guys, I lettered my own book. That's great, pal. That's awesome. But you know what? My letterer did a great job too, and it doesn't matter. It all comes out of a digital printer. You're not getting fucking plate printing. No one's going to go cut plates and have the film cut for your color separation. Like, and honestly, too, if you did, no one would care. Like, you can get a retro-looking book with Procreate by using filters and tone dot patterns and all that shit. So
yeah, you can even like just whoever you're using as your printer, you can just ask to use that older newsprint style paper as well to give it that older feel. Yeah, like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, one thing though, folks, if you ever consider doing your own comic books, here's Jeff's piece of advice for the night. If you're ever going to go that route where you look at like retro paper and you want to do something cool, make sure your colorist adjusts for that, because you got to remember books are colored for a stark white paper.
Yep.
And you will not get the same look on that paper. Now, you might like that look, but also too, if you go newsprint, you are going to save a lot of money. I go for like, there's one step higher of paper that exists for this kind of printing, and it would be too thick for pages. I like that because look, we've all been eating and reading a book. Maybe it's a little Cheeto dust. I'm not a Cheeto guy. Maybe it's some Bugles or something like that. But I like to make the books where, oh no, you got a little crumb on it, just dust it off, it won't even leave grease on the paper if you catch it quickly. Same like if you were to spill a drink on the cover and it doesn't touch the pages, but you got the book's varnished. So it's like, oh man,
You're using like what, like 70 weight?
Oh, higher 85.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't cut corners on the paper. Like that's why the books are the price they are, because you get a full story and every page is like a high quality piece of paper. And the cover is I got a new slogan. I'm not going to debut it here. I have commercials I've been producing for my comic brand. And I got a slogan, and you're going to laugh your ass off when you hear it, folks. So I'm not going to tell you anymore. It's time for me to go. I am exhausted, and Andrew's got work early in the morning as well. So anything else you'd like to say before we go?
No, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us and being so interactive this evening. Thank you for all the super chats, and keeping the lights on. Be sure to check out Jeff's video that he was teasing tomorrow. Is that a morning drop, afternoon drop, whatever it is? Make sure you guys check it out.
All of our videos drop at night based on the analytics. We do best around 7 o'clock. So folks, come back at 7:15 tomorrow after you've had dinner, before you watch whatever's on Wednesday nights. But you're relaxed, grab a beer, grab a drink, grab whatever you do, and watch some world-class videos that are dropping in just under a day. But
excellent.
I'm going to get out of here. We're going to say goodbye for Script Doctor. But go to stealingsolo.com if you want to read something that's world-class. We are promoting Stealing Solo, The Power of the Farce, and I'm working on its sequel behind the scenes. So until then, folks, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.